Hello, this is Yvonne Galusha again, and in this little video I'm going to talk about the range offset property. So remember with ranges that you can have a cells property, and that allows you to locate a specific cell within a range. Offset works very similar to that. Here is the property dot offset, and looking at a certain cell, you can then move from that location, as you might guess, offset from it. So it's not exactly a location within a range. Instead, you just think of a starting point and then how to move from that. So in this case, C5 is designated, which is 80, C, row 5. And with offset, it says to move down and over 2. So you count 1 down and then 1, 2. So when this runs, it's going to end up selecting cell E6. Let's go ahead and run it. And that is what happened. Now, I want to emphasize a couple things here. First, with cells, recall that you do count the location you are sitting on. This is a common mistake when people start to first write VBA macros. They get confused between these two properties. And just remember the rule. Cells, you count the location you're sitting on. Offset, you do not. You just got to memorize that. The other thing I want to remind you is if you have negative values, I'll just quickly change this and say -1 or -2. You're still starting here. You go in the opposite direction. So on the columns you go up, and then on the cells, on the rows you go over. But instead of 2, let's make this -1, -1, so we'll stay within the range of data. So we go -1, -1. We should end up right here this time. And that is what happened. So how do we use this offset property? Well, it can be very handy when you are wanting to add data to your spreadsheet and you want to have an interactive macro that assists in that. So let me just show you a program. I've added a macro and I'm calling this test scores. And so what I'm doing here is I'm going to prompt the user via an input box with here is the actual prompt, and then this is the title. Remember, the second argument is the title. And I'm asking for the name, which is just a string. Then here is where I'm using the offset. As we talked about last time, we start lower than the range, and so we're starting at A1000, and then we need to go, instead of down, we need to go up. I made a little mistake here. Let me change all of those. So those need to say XL up because this is way lower than our data range. And remember, we use this technique in case there happens to be a blank score. If we were going down from the top, it would stop once it hit a blank. So we're going up, and then once we are up, we're going to end up on this bottom row, in the case of the name right there, and then we need to offset 1 down, so we move here, but 0 over. So we want to, right there, add the value name. And that is the same approach. You get the score for each of the tests, and then you insert it using the same kind of technique. Let's go ahead and run this. So I'm going to enter my name. See, here's the title. This is the prompt. And then my scores, well, we'll make this pretty. A little different so you can see that they got in the right place. looking across, we're descending. And there you can see that it got inserted. So this little macro is working. Now, you'll notice I didn't do anything about changing the font here. So this is using the default font. On another video or on your own, you should be able to investigate how to change the property in order to get it to match the font that's existing. I hope you found this helpful. Just remember, with cells, you must count the location you're sitting on. With offset, you do not. Thank you.